Hi, I'm Lisa Burdus, and this is how I live with style. I'm in the village of Oddington in the Cotswolds, and I've lived here for 5 years now. I moved here from Sydney, Australia because my children had grown up and it was a stage of life where I was as free as a bird, and I thought I'm going to move to the other side of the world where I don't know anyone, and I picked the Cotswolds. This room was a brand new extension. There was a conservatory here which we knocked off. I do not understand the conservatory thing. It's either boiling hot or freezing cold. This rug was actually probably the first thing before the builders had even started that I found that I loved. It's this shade of chartreusey green. I don't know why I'm drawn to it, but I am. It became the basis of the palette for the entire house. It appears again in the kitchen, in the powder room, in the utility, in one of the bathrooms upstairs. I picked this about 4 years ago, and it is a bit of a popular colour now, but that's okay. So I do have a passion for ceramics and dinner sets, and that is because I love to cook and entertain. I had these napkins made with my family members, my children's and son-in-law's names embroidered on them. Everybody gets a kick out of seeing their own name on a napkin rather than a name tag. This dinner set I found in Uzès in France. What are the chances of having your initials on a beautiful old dinner set? When we did this extension, the room had to come off the house, otherwise it would have blocked the windows above. So it meant that this little low ceiling bit was here, and I thought, what on earth am I going to do with that? So I had a couple of options. I could have built this joinery here so that you wouldn't have seen it at all, or done a TV thing in there, TV cabinet. But in the end, I thought the cabinetry would look better on that wall. So I brought this dining table over from Australia, and it was too big for the library room, and I didn't want a rectangle here. So it fitted perfectly in that little snug area to use as a bar and a serving area for when I entertain. Here is my chartreuse green kitchen. It's not only a small and lovely kitchen, but it's also very practical for cooking because I love to cook. What I've done here is create some symmetry with two cupboards that have pocket doors. I've done pocket doors so that I can actually see in there and get some light, otherwise it's too dark. And also I can't reach in there. So all the baking things are there and the mixers are out, so I don't have to be pulling them up and down. But when I'm not cooking, it's closed and it's neat. So to balance it, I've repeated it on this side of the room. This one holds coffee and Vegemite because I tried Marmite and I just cannot get across it. These are my supplements. The salts I highly recommend. I have no idea what they are, magnesium and all sorts of other stuff, but I sleep like a teenager. So when I first moved here, I didn't know if it was going to be for 6 months, a year, or a lifetime. And I literally just arrived with a suitcase. So it's really important to me to not go and buy all things new because there's enough stuff on the planet already. So I found this little place in Chipping Norton called Station Mill, and I bought all secondhand cutlery and plates and knives and forks, and it was 2020 and Queen Elizabeth was here, and got to have respect for her. She was pretty amazing, and she's our queen too. Quite often when the weather gets a little bit too much, after about 6 or 8 weeks of concrete clouds, I need to go somewhere. So a couple of years ago, I went to Fort Demami in Italy. I flew to Pisa one Saturday morning. I hired a bike and I just literally rode this bike all around the town and found these tiles here in a reclamation yard. They weren't expensive. I love the simplicity of them, and they are old. They're a couple of 100 years old. So I bought them and shipped them back, and here they are. I've still got 18 left if anybody wants them. So this is the downstairs guest loo, which I had a lot of fun doing. This wallpaper is from Pierre Frey. Apparently it's from the 1930s, called Le Couple. And when I posted it on Instagram, I got banned for pornographic artwork. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and all of my friends who have teenagers, the boys stand in here for hours on end. I've also put in this curtain here so that when I have dinner parties, I can close that off and people don't have to look in the utility. And also there was nowhere really for the door to open. It would have banged into that door, so I kind of like it. And then in here is my utility room, which when I bought the house, the washing machine was in the kitchen. I'd never seen anything like that before. That was very odd. And this was a little study, I suppose. But for me, it's really important to have somewhere to wash and do flowers and things. So the other thing I did in here was put in a laundry chute. So from my bathroom, the ensuite upstairs, I can throw my dirty washing to here. I'm not a mad fan of a tumble dryer, so instead I've decided to put this drying cabinet in from Asco. So I can hang my shirts and dresses on a coat hanger. They still need to be ironed, but it's not as crumpled and crumbled, and it's good for tablecloths and other bits and pieces. This is the original sitting room that was here when I bought the house, but just a little bit too small for what I needed. I can really only fit about 4 or 5 people in here at a time, hence I built the extension outside. The design scheme for this room really started with the screen that I bought from Brown Rig in Tetbury. George and David are friends of mine and they have a fabulous shop there, and I saw that and I thought, it's a huge wall. I've got about a 4 or 5 metre wall that needs artwork on it. There's no windows. That fit the bill perfectly. That was really the starting point for here, and then I found this rug on a trip to Australia when I was installing a project there, and it picked up the same coral colours and golds that are in the screen. And most importantly, I love the log fire. I grew up camping in Australia with log fires every weekend in my childhood, and when I was doing the renovation, I was advised against having an open fire because it isn't, it doesn't warm the house so much. But I don't know, it's not just about practical things all the time. Sometimes it's about how it makes somebody feel, and that was really important to me. The only annoying thing is I have to sit up right till all the last little ashes have gone. Upstairs required a little bit more thought and work because the architecture wasn't really very exciting up here. So I've added cornicing everywhere, changed the skirting boards, architraves, and added wallpaper to everything because the walls are quite thin, I suppose. And I did put soundproofing in between the bathroom and my bedroom. I just don't want to hear anything. Anyway, so I'm really pleased I did that, and I think it makes the upstairs feel a little bit more substantial so it matches downstairs. So this is my master ensuite, which I've done a little bit of work in here, swapped the beds around and done a wall of joinery because I have a lot of clothes. I love my clothes. I don't like to throw them out. But rather than just doing a solid bank of cupboard doors, I've just put a little bit of pattern into the panels to make it a little bit more interesting. My bed, some might call it ugly and ornate, but it's a bit over the top, a bit like me, I suppose, and I enjoy it. With a dog above, because everyone in the Cotswolds has a dog except me. I don't want any kind of anchors holding me back as much as I love them. So there he is up there. That's an ode to a dog that I might have one day in another life. When I wake up in the morning, I love this pin board, which is probably not that attractive to have downstairs in the sitting room, but it's my children and some cards and notes and things that are special to me. Particularly this one here that says, "Leap and the net will appear." I try to use that thought when I'm considering doing something new and different. It's very special. Then through to the ensuite, which I carried on the same wallpaper as in the bedroom, same with the tiles on the floor. And then here is my chute. Dirty clothes, be gone. And this is my garden and outdoor area where, once again, I love to have all my friends outside to entertain and light the fire pit. And at the end of the day, this is my chair where I perch and relax. I don't know why, but for some reason, living here in the Cotswolds and in this house, it's the first time ever that I feel comfortable and no desire for anything else, more, bigger, better, somewhere different. I'm just completely happy and content. And I think when you do a home that is really purpose built for you and what you enjoy, just give up, enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my home. And don't forget to subscribe to the Times Life and Style YouTube channel.